Hi, and welcome to session 2 of Against the Vampire Conspiracy, Ties of Blood. This is part of a sort of a chapter in the ongoing saga of the Gauntlet's fight against the vampire conspiracy. We should really come up with some sort of name for this whole thing, but so far it's just the vampire conspiracy, and every vampire conspiracy somehow manages to slot into our ongoing world of shadow. It's amazing how that works. Last session, the players, the operators, took a quick trip to Shanghai, where they did a quick and brief but aggressive interrogation of one Dr. Chang, a executive of a company called GSV Technologies, and took his sort of like top level files as well with them. It was a surface level, but it was a fairly perfect operation, apart from a few small things that may proceed afterwards. Not least of which is that when I looked in the rulebook, you found that if a conspiracy asset is not killed or discredited, then you tick all of the heat boxes, go all the way up to the very end of alarmed. So suspicious and alarmed have been ticked all the way up here. Something that I could not have done if you hadn't left Dr. Chang uncompromised. But I'm happy to have the heat to spend. So we are now currently one tick away from capture, where the conspiracy will send somebody after you. With all that on the cards, if we could do a quick thing about your characters, and I'll go from left to right. And you don't need to give the whole overview. Just tell me, either tell me somebody you care least about, or tell me just a little bit about, like something that you haven't said before about your character. Flesh them out in a way that we haven't heard about before. So starting with Donna.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Donna. My pronouns are he, him. And tonight I'm playing Yelena, she, her. I think, although it's blank, so it hasn't come up in play yet, so I got a choice of who I care about least between Dylan and Constantine. And I think, based on the fact that I care most about Mia, I think I have to care least about Dylan, because, Dylan's a bad influence on Mia or something, and on us all. So we'll see how that goes.
Nice. Well, you can enter that there, and then we can reveal a piece of history when that comes in later on down the line. Then moving on to to the person himself.
Yeah, me. Okay. Something reveal about myself. I could tell that Dylan is from a city with a large Catholic cathedral, if that helps anyone. Maybe even Catholic and say he once was in love with a Catholic priest, and then they broke up, and so ever since he has not been very fond of Catholic priests. That was what I thought. My Big Daddy Tim never was going to cut it for him. And as to the person he's least fond of, sorry, Yelena, that has to be you, because come on, look at Constantine. He's cute, right? He is. So
especially when he takes his glasses off.
Yes, yeah. Yes. There's and when he took off his glasses last time, well, anyway. So it's not that I don't care about Yelena, but if I have to answer this question, she doesn't. Yeah, she's probably nice.
Well, that makes sense to me. I think any team where there's Dylan and Mia, we already know two of the answers on the table. They're guaranteed, right? And the other half of this dynamic duo.
Wonder Twin powers activate, I guess. So my name's Puckett. I use he, him pronouns. I'll be playing Mia Smith, who uses she, her pronouns. Mia was born in a game of what was it, Uncanny Echoes that you ran, Donna?
The suburbia, yeah. as a bratty, I want to say like 14 or 15-year-old.
Yeah, 13, 14-year-old kid found out her mom was in the CIA. Also found out that her neighbor was a hacker of no small ability. That hacker was played by Alan. Hacker was named Sho, who is now Mia's sort of mentor, anchor. And Mia went into the CIA, found out that vampires are real, and proceeded to start hunting them because it's fun. Met Dylan along the way. Oh, the two of them have had adventures, both in and out of missions. I mean, basically just imagine two people who kind of amp each other up at a bar and kind of encourage each other to do increasingly risky and poorly considered and even less advised things. And that's pretty much Mia and Dylan. They've been kicked out of more bars.
The perfect secret agents. Yeah,
exactly. Because who would believe that this pair of, stumbling, people who just like start fights in bars and wind up having sex with other people's partners in bathrooms, who would believe that they could actually do anything competently?
but your motivation is humanity. So you
Strangely,
are,
yeah.
despite your thing, your love of the thing. It's Dylan who does it who does it mainly for the excitement and the challenge. Mia, deep down, does care about those people that she saw hanging like juice boxes in the basement of a seemingly abandoned factory in Debrecen.
Yeah, that was truly horrifying.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously I care most about Dylan. I mean, hell, we've decided to sort of more or less retire to the same town, and we live in the same town when we're not in Europe hunting vampires because, Baja California, cheap place to live, nice tequila, good place, warm, sunny, very few vampires, more than you'd think, but few. And so I think if I have to answer the question about who I care least about,
if you want to defer it, you're more than welcome to.
I'll defer.
Yeah, cool.
Because I mean, I help everyone, whether I like them or not. I haven't figured out yet whether I'm mad at Yelena because I keep getting mistaken for her.
Yes.
So that's something that could actually, that is actually the way that Mia would think about things. Like, how could you mistake me for Yelena? We look nothing alike.
Yes. There are very few pictures of Yelena Nikitichina. Strangely, somehow her family photos have all been taken out, I think, probably at the various points that she's dropped by and surreptitiously made off with them so that there are little evidence of this SVR assassin. Moving on finally to our smoldering Ethan Hawke impersonator.
Yeah, he will put his glasses back on in a moment so people can look, stop staring at him. But yes, my name is Alan, my pronouns are he, him. I'm playing Konstantin Kulish, an Eastern European academic, also pronouns he, him. He's been sucked down something of an occult rabbit hole, in as much as he's discovered he can manipulate the darkness. He can harness the darkness that fuels the supernatural, and we saw him do that last time by giving the US ambassador just the right amount of heart attack. But there are some potential consequences. We need to mop up on that shortly.
Now, I suppose my question is, do you imagine it as Konstantin has learned, so when I played Anton, for example, I imagined it more as Anton had learned several different techniques, or do you think that it's Konstantin, that thing that he summoned, since then he has found himself with these abilities that
he was experimenting with a text that he found deep in the library of the University of Pech. Forgive me, Hungarians, if I'm pronouncing that wrong.
Let's just say let's just put that caveat right at the top. Forgive us all for all of our horrible butchering of all of the exotic locations that we talk about here. I think Sabine's the only one who might get some of them close.
And he did, he felt the presence of something. And I think when we get clear of the GSV spa come office, I think he will be shaken, because he didn't intend what happened to happen.
Well, why don't we take that part now, Alan? You're the last person to introduce your character, so why don't we hit the ground running with that? So you're, in the exit from GSV. Why don't you describe like the scene in which your Constantine is facing that, and make me a stress roll, please, for your great success last time.
Well, so the way that it looks to the team, perhaps, is that particularly Yelena, who will have had eyes all about that bar area, I'm guessing, is that it looks like Constantine deliberately crushed a champagne glass or snapped the stem of a champagne glass and drew blood. And that's when the ambassador reached out to Constantine and took his hand. And that's when the ambassador had a heart attack. And I think that my recollection is that the ambassador's Secret Service whisked the ambassador away. And I think Yelena went with them because Yelena was kind of on site as a member of the security team for the organization. And in the confusion and the slight panic of, oh, what happened? All the attention is on what's going on over there. That is when Dylan and Mia exited where they'd had their conversation with Chang. And I think Constantine is probably last out because Constantine is by far the least professional. All these other people have been spies and stuff. He's just been, a glorified academic and frankly, not a very successful one in any measurable terms. And so I think Constantine is the last one out. And I think may have made the mistake of going down the staircase to get out. So there is probably whatever getaway car Yelena as our driver has organized to get us away. Everybody else is in there. So I'm curious, what has Yelena arranged as our kind of exfiltration vehicle?
I think it's got to be something. I think it's something quite maybe. I think it's something that won't look too out of place pulling up outside the GSV HQ. I think that's my main concern. So it's a black and shiny kind of muscle Cadillac kind of thing. Something that is vaguely corporate, but also can get us out of a pinch.
And so my feeling is that everybody else is in the car. The ambassador has been whisked away. And that where the fuck is Constantine? And then Constantine emerges having he's sweating. He's put his glasses on because he couldn't do the stairs with his glasses on. And he stumbles out of reception looking shocked. And I'm thinking probably Mia or Dylan have to get out of the car and drag him into the back seat.
Well, I mean, I think if you think we're waiting outside for minutes, you're sadly mistaken, Constantine. I think, after you're not right behind us, we get on comms and then I'm driving around the block. And
Okay.
I think that moment of panic is when you maybe see that the car is gone without you.
It's not there. Yeah, they said there'd be a car, and it's kind of looking up, and then you come around the corner and I get in. And yeah, I think Constantine is feeling shocked. So let me see how shocked. My stress is currently 3. I will roll the stress dice. Oh, that's a 3. So he is no more shocked than he was when this happened, I guess is what we're saying.
Well, maybe just a sort of slight thrill at the ability to do it, right? Like
I don't know about that. I think that when you get him in the back of the car,
your drive is
I'd much prefer me to tell you how I feel.
No, I just mean your curiosity. You're fascinated by the allure of the blasphemous unknown,
Yeah, well, I think in the aftermath I may be curious, but now I'm just shitting myself. Because what happened there? All I wanted to do was to distract him. Then he took my hand, and the guy had a heart attack.
Well, Dylan looks at you and says, "Well, you're very good looking."
But
hasn't done any clean living, I think.
Didn't you see his eyes? Didn't you see what?
No.
They just filmed in red. They just went red, and then he keeled over.
Okay.
Did I do that?
Okay, did you do that?
I just wanted to distract him and keep him occupied, and then I wanted him to go away, I suppose.
And you did something,
I just thought about that,
and then he keeled over.
and then he keeled over.
Mhm. Well, not to put a fine point to find a point on it, but it seems like you got what you wanted.
Yeah, I suppose so. But there was just a really odd feeling, just odd.
Yeah, I can imagine it. I'm kind of relieved, actually, that you're feeling a bit odd about that.
But I mean, what if it happens again?
Well, the line of work we're in, Constantine, it will happen again.
Jeez.
I mean, you need, if you don't want to be in the line of work we're in, you need to figure that out. I'm not saying that to be mean, but the things we do, it's dangerous if you freak out on the job.
Are you looking to look for guidance, the advice of a mentor, confidant, or someone else you trust?
You know, I think I might be.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, let me seek relief from the horror by looking for guidance from my newfound mentor, Dylan. So I will reduce stress by 1, which is a great relief. And I will roll the stress dice again because it seems to like me. That's a 6. So on a 4+, mark heat and describe what they ask you to do or to restore their belief in you, and how this draws the attention of the conspiracy to the team or makes things difficult for you during the next operation. That's probably easier than how this gets back to the conspiracy. But
well, I mean, the way this gets back to the conspiracy is that you took the stairs and were therefore, you went through the fire escape, which meant triggered the door, which triggered the cameras, which means that you are on the cameras going down, and you are now associated with these operators.
Fine. Well, I will mark capture then.
Yes.
But what do you tell me? What do you ask me to do that is going to make things difficult for me during the next operation, Dylan?
Yeah, think about what you're doing. If this is really what you want to do, because if you go out in the field, you shouldn't have that. You shouldn't have doubts. I mean, it's easy for me to say. I've been doing this for a while, and I didn't start out with having no doubts, but
Okay. I think mechanically how that will, or narratively how that will, is that I'm going to be second guessing myself. Is this the right thing I should be doing? So I think Constantine is going to be slow off the mark and a little bit sluggish in terms of how he reacts in the next operation.
Well, I just wonder, how can you fulfill that obligation?
I think that either I don't use law next time, or I waste time thinking about whether I put myself at risk or I put somebody else at risk by not using it. A delay.
Okay.
I think that seems like something that we could make work.
Yeah.
On the good news, on a 6, I feel great after that. That was really helpful. Thank you. I'll reduce stress by another 1 on a 6. So that's that.
Yeah, Alan, I think Yelna is going to be looking at you in the rearview mirror and maybe giving you a piece of advice that kind of pushes you to be that kind of double thinking yourself, which is to say, when I mean to kill someone, I really mean to do it. I want to kill them. I put my finger on the trigger.
And I think that is going to shape care most, care least, because I think I was tending towards Yelena as care most, because actually I think Yelena could get me out of difficulties when push came to shove. But now I think I care most about Dylan, because that was a really positive experience. And I think Yelena is just made me more frightened that this is really just the Assassination Bureau. So I think I'm going to go for care most about Dylan, care least about Yelena.
And Dylan, who sits maybe behind Yelena, will roll his eyes at you like, at this like, yes, I'm the incredible assassin person.
Why are all the cute guys drawn to Dylan? Says the
I don't, has to be a gift.
Thank you. That's great.
Now, with you go back to your sketchily drawn safe house, because we're not going to, I think, spend much more time in Shanghai. And we can go to the debrief section. And the debrief would tell us that, did the team achieve the stated objective of the mission? Yes. So you can all lower your stress by 1, because you did find out who GSV is working for, and GSV appears to have been essentially an asset of the vampiric conspiracy being operated via EDOM, the British, the thoroughly compromised British anti-vampire program. And however, you did not take out a supernatural threat, so that is as much as the limit goes. I should reduce the heat by 1 for each yes, apparently. So I will reduce that extra heat, so we're not uncaptured anymore. And then we get to, do we do downtime or what's next, do you think? Well, did everyone see what I put in the Slack channel for possible leads?
Where's the debrief section? Sorry.
There
I'm
isn't.
still
The debrief
staring.
section is on heat and intel, on the
okay.
far right side of it.
Thank you.
We don't have a prisoner to decide the fate of.
Yeah, and I don't.
I thought we were going to go to have a prisoner at one point, but I don't think we have.
Yeah, and the prisoner, I think we played one game where we used like a file that was taken as kind of like you're asking questions of the file rather than of a prisoner. But I think on the basis of what Dr. Chang would have brought from his lab to the meeting room, it's quite high level stuff, you know, because he was talking to another conspiracy apparatchik rather than like his deep internal files or anything. So in any case, we have the leads. So we go into downtime. Why don't everyone can refresh their specialism? And I know that Puckett used his specialism last time to use that technical spark specialism. So you can untick that. You can all reset your load and clear your gear. And I suppose in this downtime between operations, here is time for people to seek relief from the horror. Now, I'm going to start off with Yelena. Is there anything you'd like to do to frame a scene of, you know, here in Shanghai?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just recalling that last time I rolled terribly and I didn't have access to my specialism for the entire mission till the very, very, very end.
You are under no obligation to have one.
But happy to be a punching bag for someone who needs a very sympathetic ear.
Nice. And so Dylan?
I mean, I will go to a bar and punch people and ask Mia to come along, but I think for now, I would like to actually talk to Yelena, because based on what she was saying about the whole, I'm an assassin, I'm so dark thing and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, I know all about being an assassin. Okay, so which is that? That is seek solace in relationship? No, it's reveal your history together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, that's great, because I care least about Yelena, so I can do that. And let's work our way through a series of recollections as flashbacks. So I start with one of these, or just do I share, or do I start my first recollection of them? How does that work?
So as written, it is go in order. of them,
Okay.
and you frame it.
Mhm.
I'm confident enough with you guys that you can choose a more interest. You know, if something it calls out to you more, then feel free to say that.
Yeah, I think maybe this was the first time we encountered each other way back when we were after the same target, maybe because I had been had my way into his confidence and was just about or had maybe just poisoned his whatever he was drinking, so he would keel over dead while I was gone. And then when we were in the bedroom and he was talking about how great he was and what great plans he had and stuff like that, and I think that's when Yelena came by.
Yeah, that sounds good. Do I like kick down the door, or have a passkey just to slip in quietly? What do you think?
Well,
You tell me, you're the assassin.
why don't we've got that it's Yelena coming to the room, and why don't we roll the dice now? And then if you get 1 to 3, you describe why you feel bad about the event you're remembering, and you get to the narrative control of it. If you roll higher than a 3, then they describe why they resent you for that, and they roll for stress instead.
Okay. So wait, this is not a seek relief from the horror then.
It is a seek relief from the horror. It's reveal some of your history.
Oh, okay.
Together.
Yeah. I just can't read. It's fine.
Your stress goes down by 1, come what may.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm rolling here. Let's see how that goes. It's a 4. It's a 4. I rolled a 4 and seek relief from the horror. Woo!
So
sorry.
So you
I'm sorry, Donna. I have made you roll for stress.
So Donna rolls for stress, or can choose to incorporate their anchor in some way into it. Mark Maria up to missing and avoid rolling for stress.
I'm gonna roll for stress. My stress is 2, so I have to roll. Okay, so my stress goes up, right?
If you roll higher than a 2.
I roll a 4.
Yes.
So I'm going to describe what really happened. I mean, I think when Yelena slips into the room, Dylan is asleep, maybe Dylan has done the job already, but he's just asleep, and
sure, poison takes a while to work.
Yeah. So you're just like resting while it takes effect. And I mean, the annoying thing was that obviously we wanted to kill this guy anyway, but we wanted to do it in a very specific way. And so, I had to intervene and get him to try to flush out the poison from his system and then kill him a different way. And all the while, Dylan is maybe, snoring away to his heart's content, waiting for his alarm tied to the poison's kind of effectiveness to wake him up.
Yeah, or maybe he just pretended to be asleep because because he didn't know who you were, and you didn't seem to want to kill him, and he would have had an edge on you, right? If you're in there and think, oh, this is just a boy who's asleep, I don't have to care about him, and why is this guy having a heart attack now?
Yeah.
And I think that's what he was having, a heart attack. So just to call back to the whole heart attack with Constantine. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. So we enter.
I'm just curious if that's changed Yelena's view in case it does. Yelena now want to go for a drink because bad memories bob to the surface when you're sober.
We'll pop around back to Donna after I've asked Puckett if he wants to do a seek relief from the horror.
Can I actually work to reduce heat? Or is
I
that
don't-
later?
I think you can just spend intel to reduce heat. I don't believe there is a mechanic for doing it via activity.
Okay, let me see how I'm doing on Intel. If I had more Intel, I would. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, during downtime, you can spend intel to reduce stress, reduce heat, recover an anchor is in the wind, take your anchor off the conspiracy target list, reassure a blown contact, or establish a new safe house. And at any time during play, you can use it to recover your expertise or define the nature of a supernatural. Oh, and during the operation, you can only use it to reduce stress as well. Yeah. Okay, so operation 2. What's next? What do you do with your bounty? Oh no, Donna, I apologize. Do you want to seek relief from the horror?
Yeah, now that I have this really stressful memory, maybe I do. I don't know. Is Constantine available for a drink? What do you think?
I think Constantine would be available for a drink. Yeah, he's not going to get drunk, but he's available for a drink. He will come with you. And you can see
Finally,
that
someone who appreciates good vodka. You know?
Yes, absolutely. But we'll probably have an argument about whose vodka is the best one.
I mean, I am definitely sure that the vodka you're paying for is the best one.
And is this going to turn into you needing to be helped home?
I don't think so, but obviously the die may decide differently.
So let's see the roll for how badly your getting drunk goes.
Badly. I mean, a 3.
A 3. So
It's about as good as it ever goes.
I mean, that to me sounds like the perfect dice roll that you would need for Constantine having to get a very drunken Yelena back, going like, I could kill you with my little finger. Oh, I have 2 little fingers. How small are they?
Yeah, I think that it probably does go that way. But no, Donna, over to you. How does it go badly?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just keep the vodkas coming, and I cannot refuse a shot glass put in front of me. So, yeah, I think, Yelena is a bit maudlin. I think once we get to 6 or 7, and once we get to double figures, I think, I like the idea of like describing how I would kill you with everything we pass on the way home, or the way back to the safe house.
Yeah, and as I kind of pour you into bed back at the safe house, if Mia or Dylan are still up, it's something like, she said that she could kill me with so many different things, and then we got here and she said, you see that doorknob? I could kill you with that doorknob. She's just odd.
It's not that hard to kill somebody with a doorknob, but yes, she is. I mean, you don't tell people that what you can kill them with, right?
Okay.
You don't tell them.
Okay.
And also, I think she means it as an endearment.
Okay, right. I'll try to look at it that way.
I mean, if she tells you I could kill you that way, probably she won't.
I like that very much, the idea that you have to worry about the ways that she hasn't told you that she'll kill you, which puts a lot of things on the table, right? So everyone has sought relief from the horror. So operation 2, which I think we'll try and get through before we do a break. Is that
is Puckett still keen to reduce heat?
He said he didn't have enough intel.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
And I'm correct in saying that's the only way to reduce heat, right? Spending intel. Yeah. Other than is there something about when you
contact? We could call on a cleaner to potentially do a bit of work for us.
Where does that say that? Where do I find that in the rule book? Where do I find
oh, Lord knows.
If you don't know, nobody else is
Um,
gonna call in a contact 47. Let's see if it's on there. So a cleaner, yeah. I don't think it's explicitly said other than in the suggestions of what a contact could
Yeah.
do. So yes,
they can erase the traces you leave.
yeah. Which would raise your stress by 1 Puckett if you wish to do so, which you could then immediately spend 1 of their intel to reduce it, or indeed seek relief from the horror, which you have not opted to do.
I tell you what, I feel bad about having done so well on the stress relief. So I would like to spend 1 intel to get in touch with that fixer Junmai, and I want that fixer to run some interference in terms of particularly the fact that I was so slow off the mark getting out of that building. So you know, I need to have her run some interference in terms of, oh, that boy I sent round, no, he's left for, you know,
Oh, he's
Hong
so much
Kong.
trouble, you know, like we'd sent him away to Hong Kong. You know, no one wants him here. He's always hanging out with the wrong guys, bringing the wrong heat, and has a drug problem, you know. Worst kind of person. Not good cat for this business.
So I've spent my 1 intel to for that, and I will reduce the heat to give us a little bit of headroom before they come after us.
Yes. Cool. Okay. So Operation 2. We have several leads here. You know, from Dr. Chang's notes, you get that his work involved using the gene modification techniques that they pioneered in creating the artificial vampires, combined with samples of something called the Seward Serum, and to try and genetically engineer AVH into people's bloodstream. That was what Dr. Chang was doing at the, you know, as his work. The side benefit of that was these treatments that he was handing out to people to try and, you know, both trying to get the AVH, widen the samples of AVH sources, and, you know, to curry favor with the rich and powerful, as he was doing with the American ambassador. And what you've got from his notes is that the conspiracy has a source of AVH material that appears to be very limited. You know, those with the eye for continuity may probably assume that that is either Harfich. I'm just going to say Harfic and just skip over that problematic vowel consonant.
The way you're rewriting it for the SCH is just a sh, halfish.
Harfish. Okay, Harfish. It's also because my eyes at the font size I've got it don't really see the difference between the F, the L, and the I. They all sort of blend in together. That's what happens when you read everything at like Zoom 80% on your computer, I think. Yeah, and she is that source is listed as HMS Prosperine, which is an EDOM asset somewhere, which I have left open for definition for the players to do in the operation, as opposed to fully pre-material. And then there is a shipment of the Seward Serum that was coming from a company called HGD Shipping, which appears to be a conspiracy cutout. That was Dr. Chang's source of the Seward Serum. He's expecting a delivery at some point in the near future. It appears making its way all the way across from Britain to here. So, you know, leaves it quite open into where you might choose to intercept it. And then GSV has also offered its you know, proprietary gene matching technology as part of a European initiative for tracking down broken families during the Balkan conflicts, with a charity called Help the Children that operates in Romania. And GSV apparently has a meeting with the European head of data protection, because that would be clearly a thorny problem for it there. You know, clearly that would help the conspiracy advance their genetic screening things and maybe track down more AVH candidates. And then finally, there's one which is probably the most open one, is who else was receiving Dr. Chang's treatments and what were they doing with it? You know, what has always been the effect there? And of course, being the kind of game that it is, I'm more than happy to hear other things from other people. Why don't we have a quick go around in terms of like open discussion. And then I started off with Alan, I think, for what last time. So I will move over to Donna for who Donna's going to be the one answering the what now. But we will do a let's have a quick round of you know, what you think you want to go for first, and then people can build off that, and we'll go back around again. So Donna, if you'd like to start off with that as well.
Yeah, I mean the kind of two that kind of seem most appealing to me right now are either the source of the AVH on the Prosperine, or kind of intercepting this ship with Seward Serum on it, or shipment at least.
Yeah, another open one in terms of like, where do
Yeah.
you intercept it? You know, like, feel free. Cool. Thank you, Donna. Sabine.
Yeah, I think both of them are interesting. I mean, yes, let's rescue the children, but that is, I mean, the whole thing is totally terrible, right? But on the other hand, it's this meeting scheduled with an EU person, and that means that whatever they're doing is month off, at least, because it's the EU and everything takes a lot of time. So we don't have any kind of pressure there. I think maybe we should interrupt the shipment because the Prosperine, maybe that will be there after we've taken the serum. Maybe we can learn something even about the Prosperine during that operation, would be my thought.
Okay. Bucket.
I am looking at that list, and I want to go after the data meeting, because everything else is a bullet or bomb-sized problem. If they get their fingers in that data, we'll be playing whack-a-mole across Eastern Europe for, well, ever, basically. You know, plus, who else would suffer as a result? How many kids would be separated from their parents, or how many parents would be kidnapped?
Probably not that, well, who knows, right? But really, like, the name of the charity is because, you know, Van Helsing descendants could be of any age.
Yes.
But the children is that the orphanage charity of Help the Children is largely the conspiracy doesn't really care about children. It just cares about the genes, you know? Like,
Right. And it's looking for that gene, which
Yeah,
enables them to produce this other stuff, which they have an incredibly limited supply of right now.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So if we stop them from doing this, we keep them on their limited supply. And again, that's a bullet-sized problem or a bomb-sized problem.
yeah. Well, that's one vote for the.
You cannot blow up data that's been spread across all of Eastern Europe.
No, and it will involve a senior figure within the EU being somehow converted to the conspiracy's cause in one way, shape, or form, right? In any case, over to our final correspondent, Alan, muted.
Yeah, I mean, I think episode 1 was pretty low key. It was all kind of pretending, and partly because we rolled so well, it went very smoothly. I kind of want to see Action Woman Yelena driving fast vehicles in pursuit of shipments and doing stuff like that. So I'm quite keen on an action intercept of a shipment. Rubber boats in the Suez Canal, or hang gliders off Gibraltar. I don't know, but that strikes me as a good change of pace from where we were last time.
Yeah, cool. So that, I think overall that's kind of 3 votes for shipment at the end of the day, right? Yeah, if I followed that correctly.
And if I was looking at a plot arc, and then next time we go after the EU, because it's upcoming, but it maybe doesn't have to be tomorrow, and then that gives us enough information to have a decent crack at Prosperine. Because I'm not going after anything with HMS on the front of it until I know exactly what I'm up against.
Yeah. HMS, by the way, is a you will find out from rudimentary kind of back channel stuff from a source that you have on your little dark net of operators is that HMS Prosperine may well just be a code name because the official vessel itself, but it is probably in some way, like it's money on a sheet moving around.
I will admit I was very disappointed when I discovered that HMS Valiant was a shed on the dockside in Newcastle.
I know, yeah, I mean, you've read the Dracula dossier, so you know that HMS Prosperine in the original thing is an oil rig. And I was like, whoa, an oil rig. Who knew? But yeah. So, okay, so that is the Seward Serum. So let's put as a rough one, intercept the serum shipment. Okay. And so Donna, who or what is the focus of the operation?
Let me just grab this drop down. I mean, I'm bearing in mind that Alan wants to intercept this thing on the move. So
I just, if you've got a driver, let's see them drive.
And I was a big fan of the one session that we did where it was in transit, because it was an interesting way to frame an operation as opposed to a complex or office or whatever, right? But I mean, everybody's choices are everyone's choices. You can only allow, however much of the players influence you is your discretion.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can't imagine that this is just going via a normal packet post, right? I don't even know how big it is, right? Is it like a whole 40-foot shipping container? But I think maybe this is going to be like a criminal group that is kind of HGD is just a front for smugglers.
Nice. So that's a criminal group. So possibly HGD's sort of under the table smuggling operation, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, shipping is lucrative enough, but sometimes you gotta go a little bit under the table.
Nice. Okay. Which then takes us to Dylan for where is the target and the detail.
Oh, let me check. I'm sorry. Where is the target? On the move, I guess, but that's not.
In transit is the on the move.
In transit, I think. Yeah, I think in transit is good. I like it. Maybe on a train. We haven't done a train thing yet, right? And I think every spy show needs a train thing at one point or another.
Who doesn't love a train robbery?
Right. Trains are fun. Am I supposed to say anything to that?
You train in transit where we can leave that, and then we can answer that with investigation questions. So we know that the HED is shipping this stuff, possibly among other illicit goods that would not be good for a customs inspection. So
smugglers on the train.
Yeah, train smuggling operation. Papers, please, as you get to the borders. Puckett, would you like to choose what threat will the operators face?
Named special ops contractors. I mean, they want to actually, I mean, this is something important to them, right? They want to be sending you some pretty decent security.
Yes. Name special ops contractors. Mr. Watchtower, perhaps, who has just found his contract renewed with a different branch of the vampire conspiracy from his encounter at a German asylum not too long ago. Or would you like to define somebody else, Puckett?
I'm okay with that. Unless you want to add a few more named threats.
Or should I have waited for the investigation period
Yeah.
for that? Yeah, I
Sure.
apologize for jumping the gun on that one.
And it's self-evident, therefore, that they are protecting someone or something, and now we know it's something.
Yes. Something. Which we know to probably be the Seward Serum, but we can find out if there's anything more in investigation times, right?
I mean, here's a question for the group. When we refer to vampires, do we say someone or something?
Something.
Depends if we want to seduce them or if we just want to kill them.
Okay.
I
Like
refer
one
to
of
them as
both,
things.
right, Dylan?
I think we drifted into Count Throndahl being him whenever we forgot to talk about it.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
With as much consistency as every other piece of vampire fiction does, you know. So, let us then go. Well, should we call it a thing there? We can do investigations after the break because we've been playing for an hour. Yeah. Okay. So let's take a 5-minute break. I will turn off the recording.